Hey, Mike the Disgruntled Mechanic here, coming to you from the Disgruntled Mechanic Garage. What are we doing today on the 2002 2500 HD Chevy pick-em-up with the 6.6 liter diesel is we're replacing the alternator. We're going to take it out. I got to get numbers off of it before I can get one, but then I'll show putting it back in. We also noticed that the tensioner had noise. So we're going to put that on the list of things to change. So one of the first things we're going to do, or the first thing we're going to do, is this has a 2-battery system. We have one over here and we have one on the other side. I am going to disconnect the negatives off that before I do anything. Then we'll get up here to removing the air duct and the snout and all those goodies off and see how that goes. Alrighty, let's start unhooking. So you actually got 2 cables to take off here. Alright, so we'll go over and start taking this air duct and such off. Alrighty, we got a bolt up here with a Torx in it. Hate removing these parts for the first time, especially after all this time. A lot of times it ends up in broken parts and broken hearts. There you go, nothing to it. Now we can get at this other guy. Alright, so we'll unhook this connector. Just pull up on it. That's out of the way. Alright. Okay, so we have another connection back here to take off. Oh, and by the way, while I'm thinking about it, the alternator was charging fine and everything, so that wasn't a problem. It was just the noise. So, alright, let's get this off, see what size it is. Probably 10 millimeter. Yep. Make sure my negatives didn't slide back in place somehow. Now what we have is down here we have 2 bolts we got to take out, and then this lifts up now. So let's get these 2 15 millimeters out. So we got an instrument for prying, an instrument. Let's see how this works. Don't want to hit this cap or anything. I got that side moving. Yeah, okay. I gotta be careful prying over here. Boy. a little bit bigger bar. Let's hope we have enough. All right. Looks like we're gonna get her. Out she comes. Cool. Didn't have to remove this. I think I would have removed the oil cap here. When I go to put it in, it'll give you a little more room. So, now we'll just check what the alternator is, the number on it if we can find one, and order another one, and it'll be ready for installation. So here's this spiffy new alternator direct from AC Delco at GM. I bought this right from the dealer. I had said before that there's two designs, a first design and a second design. This is the second design. So this alternator mount has these little spacers or bushings in it, and what you should do is push them out so that you can get the alternator back in easier. Now these are actually pushed back. You can get a hammer in here, but it's harder to make a swing. Plus these are really rusted, and I didn't want to booger them up any. So what I did was I just fashioned this little pusher, puller, whatever you want to call it here, to go in the hole out here, and with a nut and a washer, and actually just push this thing back to where we want it. This one's already pushed out, so you can see how far out that one is. This one still has a little bit back in there, so let's put this on. I know my hand's in the way there, just give me a minute. And then you can see I got the socket on the outside, a washer and the nut. So let's get some tools and push that back. Try to keep my hand out of the way here. I actually put a little rust inhibitor on it to get it to move easier, slide a little easier. So okay, we'll see. Yep, nice and flush now. So we'll take this off. There we go. And we'll set it in. I think we can get all the wires and everything after it's set in. There it is. Now it's just a matter of putting the wiring on, the bolts, and hooking her up. Putting the belt on, of course, so we'll get at that. All right, our wires next. Okay, we got that. So basically, at this point, the alternator's in. The only thing we have left to do is I have the tensioner out and basically put the belt back on and hook the batteries up, and we should be good to go. I gotta tighten that yet. So I bought this special tool to put belts on because it is a little tight in here and a little pain in the butt. You need a 1/2 inch to go into the tensioner to be able to move the tensioner. You can use a 1/2 inch ratchet or breaker bar, but the hose is just in the way enough and stuff. So to put this back on, this is what I use. What I try to do, and you can't really see it, is we have two smooth idlers down there. And what I do to make this, what I think is easier, is I leave it off of one of the idlers down there, the belt, that's smooth, and the smooth back goes on it to put on last. So you get your grooved pulley on the tensioner on first and go from there. Yeah, nothing to it. Alright, so we're on the grooved pulley. So now I know you can't see it, but now I'm going to take the back side of the belt and go over the last smooth idler once we get the belt all aligned. And it slipped right on, so you don't have to go over those grooves or those edges. Now, of course, this tool makes it so much easier. I will show it to you once I pull back here from the camera. So this is what that pulley tool looks like. You can put a bolt in here to make this go any way you want. And then you have a nice little fitting here, a little bit of a socket, whatever you want to call it, bit that you put in it, in here. Hands don't work like they used to. Just like that. And that's in there. So, and of course, you can adjust this any way you want to properly get in there, which for me, this was worth it. If it isn't in my Amazon store, I'll put it in there if anybody's interested, but it makes life a whole lot easier. Okay, so I'm going to go start it. We're at 12.04 volts. So we'll start it and see how much noise there is and if it charges. All those would be good things. So I'm going to go in and we'll rev her up, make sure we have no noises. Alrighty, so we had it charging, we had no noises. I would say that this alternator installation is a success. So this is Mike the Disgruntled Mechanic saying, just remember, if you can get somebody else to do it, you're probably better off. Thanks for watching, see you next time. Bye.